quarter number 3.
Yeah, it's hard to not want to talk about the offense after a 25-6 third quarter, but I think it's more the defense that this Pitt team is showing. Very resilient, forcing Delaware State to make bad passes, and just, frankly, not even getting enough shooting opportunities to get on the scoreboard.
Panthers with 21 field goal attempts in the third quarter to Delaware State's 9. 60-35 advantage for the Panthers here as they look for win number 4 on the season. Perkins, yes! Her first 3 of the afternoon, up to 7 points.
Yeah, that was perfect execution there by Pitt on the zone defense, right? Working the ball in the middle to Malcolm to hit it out to a wide open Bella Perkins for the 3.
Blocked that time. Faye there again for the Panthers. Perkins looking for another 3 on the other side this time, off the rim and out. Another offensive rebound for the Panthers, but the follow-up short. This could be even bigger lead for the Panthers if they were just a little bit more efficient on those second chance points down close to the basket.
You're right, Zach, because they're getting a lot of them.
Here's Stewart forcing the contact, and Faye takes the charge, I believe is the call. As we'll get some substitutions for Delaware State as Cottingham comes back in for Nekic.
And you saw there Bella Perkins' 3 ball, which we just got done talking about. That was her strength kind of last year, and so far in this game we've seen some nice drives to the hoop. So it's good to see versatility in her offensive game.
Rebound for Malcolm that time. Washington's called for the travel there. Pass got a little bit inside on her and crossed up her feet a little bit there as Panthers turn it over. The advantage of having this kind of lead in the fourth quarter for Tori Verdi is maybe seeing some of those players take the floor who don't maybe get the same kind of consistent minutes during the normal part of the regular season, one of which in possession right now, dishing up to Bella Perkins, who puts it down. And that player, Battle, who picks up the assist there, someone who we've seen kind of work in and out of this guard rotation for the Panthers, and it's good to see her maybe get some consistent minutes towards the end of the game.
Yeah, coming in last year as a freshman, Coach Tori Verdi talked about her athleticism, right? He saw a lot of promise in the young guard. Saw some minutes last season, and then this season coming off the bench so far, averaging over 8 points a game.
Washington's called for the foul there, wanted the tie-up, but doing the defending there on Cottingham that time as you get a look from the pass from Miles to Perkins again here. Perkins now with 9, started off the bench, only played 12 minutes, but it's been efficient for her so far.
And that's the thing, we talked about this Pitt squad having not as much depth on the bench coming into this game. Unfortunately, losing Jenkins, another Kentucky transfer who was leading the team in scoring right behind Faye, losing her in the West Virginia game, unfortunately, to a season-ending knee injury. And then having Lauren Russ now, who's going to miss significant time. So now you have a shorter bench, so to see, it's nice, as you mentioned, Zach, to see this game, right, get a little bit out of hand, get some of those bench players in to build that depth back up after losing 2 key players.
Yeah, Mia Jenkins and Lauren Russ, 2 players who this team was expecting to contribute heavily throughout the year, and you get a little bit of a chance to adjust with life without them, at least this season so far, as Malcolm hits the corner 3, up to 5 points for her. We talked about her 3-point shooting. We haven't seen it a whole lot today, but she gets that one to go for her first basket from beyond the arc.
Yeah, coming in today, shooting 6 for 10, and career almost 40% 3-point shooter. And that's something Pitt needs, right? Especially, if Faye, they're getting a lot of their points in the paint. Having someone like Aislinn Malcolm that can come off the bench and shoot a key 3, really important for this Pitt squad.
Lawrence, as Perkins almost takes that one away. A deep 3 that time. Oh, my goodness. Cottingham, the contested 3 from way downtown goes.
I think Bella Perkins was shocked there a little bit. She's like, I did all I could, right?
Good defending.
Good defending on her, but makes the shot go.
That one looked like a prayer coming off of her hands, but finds the bottom of the net nonetheless, and it kind of is sort of a microcosm to the story we were talking about a little bit before. Delaware State just hasn't really shot the ball as much as we maybe were expecting from beyond the arc. They're 6 for 13, so they have found success, but just haven't been able to go back to it very much. Panthers lead now 30 here with just under 6.5 to play in quarter number 4 as Washinitz hits the corner 3. 8 points for her. And the Panthers have made 3 of 4 from deep in the fourth quarter.
And as we mentioned, that's not something that so far has been a part really of Marley Washinitz's game. So be excited to talk to Coach Tori Verde, see if that's something maybe Washinitz worked on a little bit in the off season. So far, it seems to be paying off for her.
That missed her 7th three-point field goal attempt of the day.
And when you're getting as many offensive rebounds as this Pitt squad is, why not?
Yeah. Another rebound for her on the Cottingham miss. Cottingham, the leading scorer for the Hornets so far, 11 points, 4 for 13 from the floor. Malcolm, another attempt from deep here around and out. Faye fights for the rebound again, but the foul is called.
Finally seeing some help defense a little bit on Faye, right? Nala Abraham in the game going one-on-one on Faye, but we're finally seeing that guard slide over now that they're in the zone. But still didn't appear to be a match for Faye.
Yeah, Abraham picks up the foul there. Faye too much to handle again in the paint for the Panthers. And if she can establish herself in that sort of Leah King role we saw last year, this team has the potential to do some special things on offense, especially. Washinitz. Elmore to the corner now with Malcolm. Drive from her, the kick out goes back to Johnson. Great ball movement from the Panthers as Malcolm comes up short from deep.
If I'm Coach Verde, I'm not upset with that possession, right? Like as you mentioned, Zach, great ball movement by Pitt there. Couple different opportunities even on the drive by Malcolm. Maybe could have went up strong with it, sent herself to the free throw line, but being an unselfish player, and then the ball eventually getting back her way.
Definitely seen some precise passing from the Panthers today. As we mentioned, the turnover is an issue last year, and it seems like they've at least cleaned up on that in the early part of the season this year. Nice pass down low that time for Stewart, who banks it in with the left hand.
And we mentioned after Saturday's home game for this Pitt squad versus Robert Morris, they go on the road to face Kansas and Auburn.
Yeah.
So some tough Power Conference SEC opponents that they're going to face coming up. So it's really important that they get comfortable here on their home court before heading back out on the road again.
And then, of course, after the out-of-conference play, you get back into the ACC, which is notoriously one of the toughest conferences in the country. So certainly good for Pitt to get those matchups early and maybe get some of those holes plugged before the start of conference play. Nice shot that time from McElrath, a 3 from her second, 6 points.
Yeah, that was a beautiful crossover and step back 3.
Johnson quickly the other way. 16 field goal attempts for her. She's only had 4 of them go down, but 11 points. She's played well defensively as well. 7 rebounds, 2 assists as well for Johnson. .30. 30-point lead here for the Panthers in the fourth quarter, under 4 to play here at the Peterson Event Center, where the Panthers, not necessarily the 25-6 advantage in the third quarter, but the fourth quarter still showing a lot of effort and not really taking the foot off the pedal here towards the end of the game.
Yeah, and I think that says a lot about this Pitt team. It's hard in these games to lose focus when you have a 30-point lead, but we're seeing subs get in, and we're seeing the tempo continue, right? We're still seeing players go after loose balls, getting those second chance opportunities. I mean, second chance points is 22-6. I think that says a lot about the hustle, and it's something that Tory Verdi, we know, preached a lot last season when he took this job.
Abraham gets her first 2 points on her first field goal attempt of the day. Mentioned the Rookie of the Week award for her last week. Hasn't seen as many minutes today, only 7 so far. But gets a couple points there. Elmore off to Malcolm in the corner, dribbles in, takes the jumper, and off the mark there. Delaware State's made their last 3 field goals. Looking to try to maybe just build a little bit of momentum and finish this game strong on the road. Johnson in transition, getting behind the defense, and she now has 13 points on 17 field goal attempts, the most of anybody in the game.
That was a great pass by Miles there, right? I really like her coming into this game. Another Kentucky transfer, right, coming into the season with Jenkins and just taking ownership of that point guard position and really being a leader, right? Had a head up the entire time, found a wide open Johnson.
Don't look now, Miles 2 assists away from a double-double as well. As we mentioned, struggled from the floor badly coming into the game, but she has been one of the better players on the floor today. 5 for 5 from the field, 12 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds for the Pitt guard. Just a really impressive performance throughout for her.
And it's been a while since we've had a point guard. I like to think Daishanette Harris, right? That was a point guard that we had a few years ago, that Pitt had, a few years ago, that, piled up the stat sheet. And so if Miles, I know she started the season a little bit cold, but hopefully just kind of early season jitters, right? Getting used to a new system. So if this can keep up, Pitt's got a strong point guard.
Miles the takeaway there, and there is assist number 9 on the three-pointer from Malcolm. Just like you were saying, when you get that extra layer of scoring from your point guard, who in previous years the position lacked that scoring element as well, it really adds a dimension to your offensive attack, and I think the Panthers are seeing the fruits of that so far today. Bella Perkins, the nice block there, coming back, and Miles picks up the foul, her first, so no trouble there for her. It'll be interesting to see if Miles does pick up that double-double with those 9 assists. Got a minute and change to do it here.
And now's the time where you're also wondering, does Coach Tory Verdi know that she's approaching that double-double, right? A little under 2 minutes left to play, keeping his starting point guard in the game.
Takeaway that time. That's Biggs into the game for the Panthers. First time she's seen action so far today. Miles, the dish to Malcolm. Off to Perkins. Feeds back up to Miles. Perkins comes up short, trying to get the double-double there for Miles.
By the reactions I'm seeing on the bench, I think the staff is very well aware that she's one assist away. Yes, I was going to say the same thing.
Seemed like Perkins was kind of trying to get that ball back to her as well after she received it from Malcolm, who pokes it out of play here, as Miles will come out of the game now for battle. She won't leave the scorer's table, though. Verdi having a conversation with her. Smiles on both of their faces as she heads back to the bench finally. Huggins off to Nekic. Now to Barnes, looking for Abraham down low, but Abraham had left the location of the pass. Biggs now. Perkins, then Battle. Panthers in no rush here in the final minute of play. Capping off a really complete performance at home for this Pitt team. Biggs, nice move there.
And you gotta love when you see the bench erupt right like that, right? Freshman Biggs getting into the game in the final minutes and getting on the stat sheet. And that's everything, right? Team culture, team camaraderie. And it seems like Tory Verde has worked hard in the offseason to build that team chemistry. And we're seeing it pay off today.
Another takeaway for the Panthers. Pass looking for Biggs up court. Can't find her in the final 12 and now 10 of play. Abraham holding that one poked loose and out of bounds with 5 to go. So certainly a game where you think Tory Verde will go back on film and smile about it. An 80-45 win for the Panthers on home court. And Sarah, a really strong performance for the Panthers in non-conference play, but just kind of building that momentum like we were talking about earlier.
Right, and of course you love to see almost two players having double-doubles in the game. So that's a win for this team, and they never let the foot off the pedal, right? You talk about in these games facing some of these mid-major opponents that maybe aren't up to the same level of play that you are, but this Pitt team came out strong in the second half and kept that momentum going, and hopefully they'll take that into Saturday.
So alongside Sarah Johnson, I have been Zach Idme. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday afternoon. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you next time from Pittsburgh.